You have the genes to make growing Texas cotton an art, and FiberMax brings the science with advanced genetics that deliver premium fiber quality, high yield potential, and $81 more per acre than the competition. Your art, our science. FiberMax.
Hello and welcome into the Lone Star Varsity Studios. I'm Mike Graham.
And I'm Bryan Navarrete, and we're with the Lone Star Varsity High School sports staff.
This video is brought to you by FiberMax and powered by AJ Media. And Bryan, we just did the second day of the Caprock Classic, the FiberMax Caprock Classic. Really fun day. A lot less work to do today because a lot of the thinning out had been done, and we ended up catching up with the semifinals of each bracket. And we saw some really good games. And I think the one that you want to lead off with is Levelland and Friendship. This was a game that pitted a Class 6A Friendship team with 3 losses against a Levelland team from 4A that was 20-0. Heck of a game, 9 lead changes. Paige Royal really stood out. Cassandra Watt for Friendship really stood out. And Levelland takes a 53-41 win.
Levelland returned a majority of its starters from last year, if not players that played a lot of minutes, because they had some injuries last year and they went pretty far into the playoffs. So the fact that they're playing good right now isn't that big of a surprise for me. The same with Friendship, because Friendship brought back some key components. They also graduated some, but I saw them earlier against Lubbock Cooper, and they're the real deal this year. They're gonna, I think, make some noise in 2-6A when it comes down to it. But these were 2 good teams, and we anticipated a good game.
Yeah, I think that Friendship's probably the favorite to get out of 2-6A, and they certainly looked the part. I mean, this is no joke of a non-district schedule for them. And running into Levelland, Levelland is a team that we talked about in the preseason that we thought could easily be in the state semifinal kind of setting at the Alamo Dome. They were close last year to that.
Definitely, some of the big players that they brought back from last year, I imagine, played really big minutes in this one. Paige Royal, Michaela Eskew, Miranda Villegas, to name a few. They brought back a lot of talent, and I believe it's very possible that they end up in that state tournament again.
Fun fact for Levelland, no bench points in this game. Starters only scored. I think that the bench combined for like 3 rebounds. They worked their starters hard tonight. Friendship wasn't that much better. 5 bench points for Friendship. And yeah, I mean, just a really exciting game. 9 lead changes, up and down, back and forth. And then it was a 37-33 game at the end of the 3rd quarter, and Levelland kind of outworked them in the end, 16-8 in the 4th quarter. Only got 3 free throws in that span. Friendship didn't foul very much. It was just kind of a pure basketball game up until about the 2-minute mark, I'd say, is when Friendship started to finally get aggressive and try to claw back into the game. But they weren't, they never really panicked. I was really impressed with them. So good game all around. Yeah,
I think so. And I think both these teams are going to do some big things as soon as they hit district time. But, Levelland, now they're moving on to the big stage,
And then we've got Estacado versus the OKC Storm. This was your game tonight.
Yeah, a really interesting game coming in because I saw Estacado the night before against Denison, and they were able to wear them out, in the long run, play them to a game where they're going to have to play the full 4 quarters in order to get everything going and, wear out their opponent. And this one, immediately, OKC Storm, I keep on wanting to say Oklahoma State, but OKC Storm took them out of their rhythm by playing a zone press defense. And you could tell that it affected them immediately because they weren't able to, get away early on, get those fast breaks and those easy buckets that they're accustomed to. And then that affected them having to use like some long shooting, and they were a little bit out of rhythm. And as soon as they got out of sync, the Storm were able to get on top of them. They're a really talented group. I was impressed with their game plan more than anything. They also have some really talented athletes, but they did a really good job in just slowing Estacado down, which, in talking with Kurt Talbot, the coach for the Storm afterwards, he had mentioned when it comes to Estacado, if you're making them, or if they're holding possession of the ball for 8 or 9 seconds, you're already putting them out of their system because they're used to going down there and getting those buckets.
Right. Saw the OKC Storm on Thursday destroy Abilene Cooper with the same press, full court, and then sometimes a 3-quarter They switched it up, and Abilene Cooper had problems with it all game. But I think a lot of people want to know what the OKC Storm is. Obviously, OKC represents Oklahoma City, but what is this? Is it like a group of homeschool students? Is it a charter school? What is this thing?
It is a homeschool team. I spoke with the coach a little bit afterwards, kind of asking a little bit about, are you guys TAPS? What is it that you guys are over there in Oklahoma? And he said they are a homeschool team. They haven't been to the Caprock or a tournament out here, and I think 5 or 6 years. So maybe that's why a lot of people started questioning who is this team. But whenever they were down here, they certainly made some noise. And also talking with the coach, they had saw Estacado early on in the year, so they knew what they were all about, and they were able to prepare for them successfully. Talking with Tony Wagner in Estacado, he said we just didn't play the way we normally play tonight. They were able to take away some things, and they weren't able to respond to adversity. But he's very positive in the things that that they can do moving forward. The night before, he said he was excited for the potential that this team has, and now he's excited, or not excited, but he's glad that they got to see a little bit of adversity, because you always want to see that before you hit district. You don't want the easy games. You want the games that are going to make you better every week.
Another interesting girls game, Lubbock Cooper and Idalou got together. This was a rematch of the season opening game for both teams. A 77-67 overtime win for Idalou in the first meeting tonight became a 38-36 win for Cooper, who advanced on into the Chick-fil-A championship game. I don't want to say I'm surprised by this result, other than the fact, scoring was reduced in half. And talking to Coach Kyle Lavorne from Cooper after the game, he said, yeah, we had J.C. Heiss back and didn't have her for the first game. Very tight. The score didn't change for the final 2 minutes. So they were just hanging there, and neither team could get a shot to fall. Lavorne said it was good defense by Cooper and missed open looks. Would love to hear Tyler Helms' side of that argument. But, a heck of a game. Two really good South Plains teams, other teams that we think could have a very good playoff future ahead of them.
Definitely. I think Cooper isn't necessarily a team that was up and coming, but a team to keep an eye on in the last couple of years, especially with J.C. Heiss there. I believe she played as a freshman and is now sitting at a junior maybe. But either ways, she was a name that has been big for them all year long. Idalou, always strong, solid team. When I looked at this game, I thought how exciting it would be, for the rematch and everything of it. But for the lead not to change for 2 minutes, that's kind of an impressive feat on both ends. I think that shows that either they're taking each other out of their systems or they're both playing really incredible defense. But this was a game that was I think was highly anticipated on our end. But now Cooper moves on, and they're gonna get another chance as well.
And that's what we'll get into right now before we wrap this show up. The three brackets. Because the Oklahoma City Storm beat Estacado, we're dead in the G. Borens bracket. The region has no teams. We're not worried about it. OKC Storm, they'll face Odessa Permian in a 9:30 game.
Estacado does get a third place.
That's right, they
chance
do.
Against Permian, and that'll be at, I believe, 3 p.m. at Trinity Christian.
And not Permian, but the opponent,
Midlothian Heritage.
And that's going to be a good game. That could be a deep round for a playoff kind of thing. Both those teams very good. But we'll go, and I guess we'll just go in order of what time these games are. The 5 p.m. game. All these games being played at Lubbock Christian University's Rip Griffin Center. Ropesville is in, and they're going to play Shallowater or Jacksboro, who have a 9 a.m. semifinal game today against each other. And Ropesville kind of paid its dues early. It played 2 games Wednesday, so it's just going to sit around and hang out until 5, whereas Shallowater and Jacksboro are going to have to play each other in probably a physical game before moving on to the championship round. So I'd say advantage Ropesville, which is 18-0.
Yeah, what's fun about that is you get to not exactly sit around, but you get to watch that game. You get to prepare for both ends of that spectrum, whether you're facing Shallowater or whether you're facing the other team. You get to sit there and kind of see what they're all about before you head into that game with them at 5.
Honestly, I wouldn't roll out of bed. I just keep resting, keep my energy up for that one, because it's going to be good either way. I got to see Jacksboro play Geelong, Australia today. They look pretty good. But yeah, everyone at some point along the championship bracket had to play 2 games in one day, and for Shallowater or Jacksboro, that day comes Saturday, and it's interesting because I mean each game, you know, exponentially you're getting tired. So that'll be interesting. Of course, if it's Shallow Water or Jacksboro, they're both 3A programs. Probably have some bench numbers to throw at Ropesville, which is the number 6 team in the TABC poll in Class 1A. But yeah, it's going to be a good game, and Ropesville's in a great position to move to 19-0 without knowing who their opponent is. After that comes the Double T Smiles bracket game. This is a boys bracket, and I believe this game starts at 6:30. And we don't know who any of the teams are that are going to be in it, but we know who the semifinalists are. They're all playing at 9 a.m. It's going to be Olton, who we got to see yesterday against Borden County. They keep winning. Zach Ramage. I mean, like we said, this was a kid that he's listed at 6'3". I'm 6'2". I'm under the impression he's like 6'7", because he's just huge. And you know, got to see him drop 30 on a really good Borden County team that had been to the state semifinals last year. Olton playing Alpine, 9 a.m. at Coronado High School. And we're guaranteed someone in this game because All Saints Episcopal is playing Shallow Water at 9 a.m. at Friendship. So I'm wondering what we're going to see in this game, since both teams have 9 a.m. games. You know, it should be evenly matched. You're going to finish within minutes of each other, barring overtime. But I don't know if it's going to be the cleanest game when you're playing your second game in a day.
It might be worth, even though it's really early in the morning, to get out there for the All Saints and Shallow Water game. All Saints is a team that made it to the state tournament last year. I think the state championship, they fell. They returned a really talented player in Luke Stewart, who's really fun to watch. And yeah, that might be a really good game, especially if you want to see what Shallow Water's all about on the boys' end. We'll see what the results are as soon as we get there around, I believe this game tips at 6:30, the championship.
That's correct. So. And then before we turn it in for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, we've got the Chick-fil-A championship. That's Levelland versus Cooper, and I'm really excited about that game.
I think so. I'm excited for it as well. You know, we got two teams who are having a really good season, and we expect a lot out of. And last year, I believe this game was Friendship and Monterey, who also we expected a lot out of. And I think this one's going to be just as good. I think it's going to come down to the wire on both ends on who can outlast the other. Levelland's no joke, and Lubbock Cooper is definitely coming up.
Combined record between the two teams is 40-2, with Cooper having both losses. So should be a really good game. And with that, I think we're done, ready to rest up and get to the rip. So we really appreciate you guys watching this video. It was brought to you by FiberMax and powered by AJ Media. So long, everyone.